I don't like the word busy. It's toxic for me. So I've replaced busy with passionately productive. And like any passionately productive single parent, I want more ways to connect with my kids that don't break the bank and spoil them, and also don't bore me to absolute tears. No easy feat. So I came up with this idea of a family book club. And these cozy visions of family bonding started materializing in my mind. And I set off to find the perfect series that would entertain me, my 13-year-old son, who's an introvert, and my 6-year-old daughter, who's an extrovert. Not an easy task. So I found this super lame-looking book series, but lame it was not. We actually were learning really fun facts about art and politics and war and economics, but we were learning more than facts. We were learning about mental models. We were learning how to think instead of just what to think. And I know the idea of mental models can be a little vague, but really a mental model is what determines whether this glass is half full or half empty. It's your filter for reality. It makes up terms we're familiar with like paradigm, worldview, perspective. It's really, mental models are the thinking tools that we use to make sense of life, to make decisions, to solve problems we run up against. And some of us from our work will know about mental models such as network effects or economies of scale, confirmation bias, models like that. And the thing about mental models is that our brain can't live without them. Literally without them, we'd go insane. And so we're not taught them in school. And so our brains are kind of left to like duct tape together our sense of reality. And when this happens, we're left to process incoming information against those internal mental models that we have. And so if the information fits in an existing mental model, well, then it is stored, it is filed, and it makes sense to us. We can then retrieve it later for decision-making or conversation. And when information comes in that doesn't fit in an existing mental model, normally the brain will just discard it as irrelevant, noise, crazy talk. And it's not filed, and it's not stored, and it doesn't make sense. And it goes into that trash pile that's cleaned up from our brains every night as we sleep. But sometimes information comes in that doesn't fit an existing mental model, but also is too compelling to discard into that trash heap. And this is where the magic moment of opportunity comes in. This is where we have the chance to consider a new mental model. We have the chance to consider a mental model that might help us incorporate that compelling information into our way of thinking. Or, and far too often, we will fall into the mental anguish of cognitive dissonance. Good old cognitive dissonance. I used to call it feeling frustrated or agitated, offended, annoyed. I didn't realize that those were just subconscious triggers that a mental model was being challenged. It was like a desktop notification that it was time to upgrade parts of my operating system in my brain. But until that's conscious, it's just me against you. Sometimes in a fight to the death. But once it is conscious, well then curiosity and exploration can follow. Relationship can happen as we explore each other's mental models or alternative mental models. New ways of thinking together. Because we all go around acting like our reality and our experience is the God-given truth, right? When in reality, our experience is this duct-taped, hacked-together series of mental models our brains created without us even knowing so that we wouldn't go insane. So maybe the God-given truth is that we were designed to choose mental models that serve our hopes and our dreams, that lead us unto a life that we want to have, ways of thinking that increase compassion and empathy and collaboration. I can't get on a rooftop and shout it from the rooftops, but I can get on one of the most prominent stages in Central Florida and declare this good news to you. How you think is a choice. It's a series of choices that will lead to love and freedom or bondage and fear. But there's more good news about mental models. So once you see a mental model, you can't unsee it. Once you learn one, your brain automatically starts applying it as you go about life. You start to see patterns that other people didn't see and bring solutions that other people didn't bring. You become a decision-making ninja. You'll see mental models in nature that apply to relationships. My mom taught me that the 4 seasons are an analogy to success and failure, recognition and obscurity. My friend Jenny taught me that gardening can help with parenting teenage kids. Who knew, right? But we get stuck not being the people we want to be and not living the life that we want to live, not realizing that there's this series of mental models in the background operating system of our brains that needs to be upgraded every once in a while. And once we find that we're stuck, then we can find ways to get unstuck. We can find new mental models that serve us by talking to people that have ideas and opinions different than ours, exploring their mental models. Tonight, you guys found a place where ideas are exchanged freely. And some of the ideas tonight, they mean absolutely nothing to you. But some of them may mean everything to you because you discover a new mental model you can't unsee. We know in Orlando that we are stronger because of our diversity. We are open to new ways of thinking, new ways of decision-making, and new ways of being. We have access to the richest marketplace of mental models humanity could ask for. We have each other. Thank you.